Why your triggers are actually signposts and not something to fear. Hi, welcome to the channel. If it's your first time here, I welcome you and I'm grateful for your time. My name's Jay Roberts. I'm the founder of the Debox method. And after an epiphany event back in 2014, I now teach people how to heal trauma and loss and emotional struggles through emotional release with the use of triggers. Now, the the so let me ask you this. Do you ever notice your triggers? I mean, really pay attention to them. You know, that person that maybe rubs you up the wrong way, they use a tone or a facial expression, or maybe your kids do something repetitively that drives you nuts, or if there's an event that occurs that you're immediately triggered and transported back to a time where something maybe happened to you. Well, we all have them. You know, we all have these daily triggers. And of course, what we mostly do is we react to them and then we vent out. You know, you see it all the time on social media. People get triggered by a comment and they go in screaming, shouting, and like all guns are blazing, which is much easier to do on social media, that's for sure. But here's what I learned when I went on my healing journey. And for any of you watching this that are beginning or into your healing journey, and also you probably understand that releasing emotions is a very powerful way to do that, although what I've got here is a different way to do that. One of the things that I figured out was that my reaction is my own. It's mine to own. So if I am emotionally triggered, if I'm triggered by anything, although I may still have an emotive reaction at the time, and you know sometimes I mean we're not perfect, I can vent out or react outward to that. Ultimately, when I come away and I try and do this more and more, is that okay? But that triggered me. That's mine. That's connected to something within me, and so I own my emotional response. I own my triggered reaction because each trigger I've found is a signpost to something dwelling within me. That may be an old memory, it may be linked to something of not feeling good enough, or I'm carrying some guilt, or there's trauma, there's something buried in there. And so every single trigger became a signpost. When I was in healing mode, so I would kind of have modes of healing mode or non-healing mode. But when I was actually going in, right, the next few weeks I'm going on healing mode, I would use these triggers as my signposts to start to lead me on a path to what they were linked to, and ultimately what was causing the seemingly overreaction to, more often than not, a trigger small trigger event, you know. So one of the best ways to start to do that, and it's one of the three pillars, which is self-awareness. I'll talk about the others in an upcoming video, is that each trigger is kind of giving me a direction to something. What I wanted to start to do is create the awareness of my daily triggers, so I start to get to know myself more. And so what I would then do is I just created a little sheet that I've got a link below this video that you can uh, enter your name and email, and I give you the little sheet that I actually use, where you can just start to fill in these daily triggers and just build your awareness. But I just started to pay attention to what was going on a daily basis. I had a little notebook or piece of paper like the one I can give you a download for, and I would note them. So something may happen, my wife may say something, and I feel that triggered response. I may react in the moment, but now, oh, I triggered. What did she do specifically? Okay, it was saying it for the third time, repeating it like I'm stupid. So I would make a note of that. Then my children may say something, or an event may happen, or I may be watching something on TV and it moves me to tears. Instead of just assuming that my tears are just, you know, I'm just tearful at the thing, I now started to use that tearful response as well. That's another trigger event because it can be anger, fear, crying. All of these things are triggered emotional responses. And so I would start to note these things down. Oh, I cried at this bit of the movie. You know, what bit specifically? Oh, it was that scene. And I would start to list all of these things out. And what I would start to see over time, over many days and sometimes weeks, is I would start to see some patterns of where things were causing me a reaction, where things were triggering me. And there was a theme to many of them. But it just began that starting to become really self-aware about what I was responding to and what I was reacting to. Now, one of the other great things about starting to make a list of the triggered events is that you not only have a list of things that you can start to work from, which again in future videos I'm going to go into in more depth, but you also have the ability to then start to see what's changing. So as you're developing this skill, as you're releasing these emotions, you trying this method, you can come back to one. This is one of the lists that you can start to come back to and see, oh, I don't get triggered by that anymore. That doesn't trigger me anymore. This doesn't trigger me anymore. You start to see the changes. And I think that's a great way to do it. I always liked the fact of being able to track progress. So I could see for myself, like as I reevaluated my position every 2 or 3 months, where things had changed, where my emotional responses had shifted, and where things had got better. And so this is just one of the three lists that I like to work with, which I take all new students through in the beginning because it gives us that platform to begin, but it also gives us the ability to track progress through the course of any coaching or learning, which again is so powerful when you want that validation, like what you're doing is actually working for you. And in this next video that appears somewhere around here, in the next video, I'm actually going to go into each of the three lists that I get all new students to go through. So it sets them on the right path on their healing journey for a place to begin and how to track their progress as they go through learning this new skill. So click that one and I'll see you on the next video.